Hello everybody, welcome to my first video. Andrew reviews games and stuff. I'm Andrew, obvious. I thought it'd be appropriate, I guess, to put my 2 cents on the game Callisto Protocol. I guess I haven't beaten it yet, but it's one of the things, I played enough of it, I feel like it's like a pre-review. It, like the taste before the actual review, So what's my thoughts? Well, my thoughts are pretty, I don't know, I guess it's pretty close to what most people are thinking. But I do have one key thing I think would have been different from a marketing perspective for them. I think if they would have marketed it as a thriller action with some horror elements as a game. As crazy as that might sound, like labeling like how you would a movie, instead of calling it a horror, call it a thriller suspense with some horror elements, like the movie It from 2017. It's not really a great horror movie per se. However, it's one heck of a thriller, action with some action elements into it, with some pretty light, well, a little almost moderate horror elements to it. I think. I mean, geez, am I reviewing a movie too? Anyways, I guess that's kind of my perspective on it. I think if they would have labeled it different instead of as a survival horror, I think it would. I think some people wouldn't be so disappointed in it. I think would be more accurate. Because it's solid. I played a lot worse, but I played a lot better this year, so somewhere in between. I guess where to go with this. I've only played about 2.5 hours. I feel like that's enough where I can kind of get a general idea of what they're trying to go for with the game. The lightings are fantastic. The atmosphere, for the most part, works pretty well for what I think they were trying to go for. Well, what they ended up going for, but maybe not so much what they wanted to go for. The story is pretty generic so far. I mean, you got the pain in the arse, warden, blah blah blah, and pharmaceuticals, blah blah, experimentation. It's pretty generic. You've seen it, done it, been there, done that. Maybe I haven't beaten it, so maybe they might have a twist to it closer to the end that I don't see coming. Probably not, but you never know. Also, I do think the character Jacob is I think he's pretty interesting, or can potentially be interesting. Might be let down there. Hard to say. The graphics are awesome. I mean, definitely feels like that's where they're... Kind of reminds me of the older days with Square Enix, where it was all pretty much as graphics. Story and substance came after. It was an afterthought. Graphics first, everything else secondhand, I miss some of those days. But that's beside my point, though, The combat, it works. It's not the greatest, but it works. It does what it needs to do. And I think that's fair, but, I just think Dead Space did it better. I'm going to say it. I think Dead Space just did it better. Said it. But, the thing is with me, the biggest problem I think I have with it being an actual horror game, I feel, is, I've not been scared with it. And I've been over 2.5 hours. I feel like I should be somewhat scared or had something imprinted of, like, man, that'll creep me out. It really didn't. And it's a shame because the ambience is fine, works. The lighting works. For the most part, the atmosphere is dark, dreary, so it could sell pretty well or easily. But, I just kind of found myself being more frustrated with, like, oh, great, it's one of those things again. Or like, a lot of people are complaining, of, like, opening chests or lockers in the game, you will encounter these leeches things, and I was thinking because I've seen other people review, spoiler free. I was like, there's no way they really overdid that. Come on. They're AAA and all that good stuff. They should know better than that. I think they're overselling it that way, but no. It felt like every other locker I was being attacked by this larva maggot thing, and but overall, the designs are pretty good, but I kind of feel like I might be wrong, and I hope I'm pleasantly wrong, as a first impression view, that, I feel like they've thrown most of the monsters that they're going to throw at you already here. I mean, you got the security bots, and you have this monster, this mutation, and that mutation, and the only one that really kind of made me, I'll probably remember, and it's because of how I describe it. It looks like a puckered up butthole with a tapeworm coming out and biting you. I was like, what in the world is that? I mean, I guess it's worth something if you have something where you go, I'm probably going to remember that for about 5-10 years, that one image. But probably nothing else out of the game all in all. I mean, the story's pretty generic. The lighting's fantastic and it's visually impressive. It really is at times. It's kind of stunning at times. Like I said, the combat, it's okay. The dodging mechanic, me personally, I mean, maybe not everyone else had the same problem, but me, myself, I kind of doing the dodging mechanics wrong. I do need to clarify. I played the PS5 version. So I'm aware of, like, on Steam and pretty much every other platform, it seems, by what I can see and, on the web and, people reviewing and all, it seems like they're kind of jank, which is a shame. It would have been nice this year. We could have got, well, I don't know. I guess God of War Ragnarok wasn't really that bad for jank for me. I had a couple glitches with it, but, I'm going to review that later. That's neither here nor there. But, it would have been nice if we could have got through the whole year where something wasn't horribly broken or janked from a AAA studio. It would have been nice this year, but I guess Santa didn't come this year. Maybe next year he'll bring me a game that's not all broken and janked, Anyways, I wanted to love it, because, to me, I always loved survival horror. Back since, like, Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2 back in, I don't know, I guess it was about 13, and geez, I'm aging myself pretty good. I'm like, freaking 30. Jeez. Ooh. But anyways, because, like, back then, I remember the paranoia of opening a door. Just a simple task of it, just the system loading and booting itself up. I mean, I get it, limitation of hardware as an adult, you get it. That's why you always had these loading of opening a door, or it just basically freezes on you for 2 minutes and you go through a door. And it oddly worked because it built up that tension. Like, oh man, I hope Pyramid Head's not behind that door. I mean, Triangle Head. My bad. I think that's what they renamed it to. I mean, technically, I don't know. That's a rant for another day. I'll talk about that later. That it just I just wanted that same kind of dread or intensity, and I did not feel it here, man. It kind of sucks. I mean, I don't hate it, but it kind of sucks so far. I mean, that says a lot. I'm only 2.5 hours or maybe 3 hours into it. Not very far. Considering it's about a 14-hour game. I mean, I guess a lot of people say that some people, are like, that's too short. Me, I don't really care about that as much, as long as it's like over. Okay, I try to look at it this way. My perspective is, I make X amount of dollars an hour. I'm not going to obviously tell you how much. Say if you make $10 an hour, okay. If it's more than 7 hours, and I love every freaking minute of that, it's worth your money then, because you got 7 hours of labor. And I know that's probably not what every consumer probably thinks, but that's just my perspective. If you have fun with it, it's worth what you pay. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's all my off-the-cuff thought, It's something else, I wanted to really love it, man. And I feel a little let down, and I feel like a lot of people feel a little let down. At least I don't feel alone on that aspect. But I still stand by that. I think if they would have labeled it as, a suspense thriller action game, third person, as much of a mouthful as that is, with some horror elements, that could have been like a 9. Still probably jank on the other systems, and I don't know, if it's as bad as it is in Pokemon Scarlet, I could take it down about 2 or 3 packs. Alright, guys, I guess that's going to do it for this, I guess, first impressions. I plan to do others. Let me know what your thoughts are. Try to keep it spoiler-free-ish, because it's still a really new game, guys, so try to keep it spoiler-free. You can express your frustration and all that stuff. Put the comments down below. I read those things. I like to communicate with people. Just chat and build a community. My goal is simple. In the next year, I'd like to have 500 subscribers. I think it's a realistic goal. So until next time, guys, have a good one. And keep on gaming.